everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. All the money in the world. Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Williams, Christopher Plummer. Sounds like a pretty good cast. It's about the kidnapping of John Paul Getty III. He's a 16-year-old kid, and the mother is trying to convince the billionaire grandfather to pay the ransom. So I'm assuming Michelle Williams plays the mother, Mark Wahlberg plays the dad, and Christopher Plummer plays the millionaire grandfather. I'm assuming. It seems like those roles would fit very nicely for these group. IMDb has it at a 7. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics, 78%, and the audience at 71%. Let's get into it. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes, so it'll be a while. But I'll be back to keep you updated and let you know how it's going and really tell you what the synopsis is about. So stick around. Alright. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in here. It's only at the 33-minute, 31-second mark of all the money in the world, but I figure I better check in early because there's a lot to share, I think. So first of all, real quick, Mark Wahlberg is not the husband. He seems, he's just coming into the picture now, but he seems like a negotiator for Mr. Getty. So Getty Oil, he's at this point in time, this is 1970s, but they show the whole thing, from 1940s up. They kind of show how Getty founded the oil and became not just the richest man in the world, the richest man ever. So that's played by Christopher Plummer. Michelle Williams is the mother of what seems to be like 3 kids, which is kind of odd. They're only showing one, and it's the Paul Getty who gets kidnapped right in the beginning. But it jumps around like I'm kind of doing real quick, but essentially Michelle Williams' husband is the son of Mr. Getty, and growing up never saw his dad, ever. His dad just went out and made all this money and left this kid all alone, probably with his mother or whatever. But they're down on their luck. They're broke, so he reaches out to his father. His father's kind enough to get him a job, has them all come over to Rome, and the father immediately gets caught up in the rich lifestyle. So he's doing drugs and drinking, and ultimately just leaves the wife, and the wife comes back to the United States, Michelle Williams, and gets a divorce, what have you. But this is when Paul Getty gets kidnapped because they know the grandfather's so rich, but he won't pay the ransom. So that's where we are. So a lot has happened. It's outstanding. Real quick, some points on how this is based on a true story, by the way. If you haven't known that already, I apologize. But yeah, it's based on a true story, so I'm always interested to see what facts are true and what aren't. So 2 things. I mean, obviously Mr. Getty, richest man ever. But he tells a story about this one little statue that his grandson has picked up and started to play with. And the story, basically, he's out in the black market, and he calls him a cripple, was selling this thing for $19. It took him an hour to barter with him to get it to $11, and then he finally bought it. Richest man ever has to barter down $8. That statue at that time was worth $1.1 million. So he went from 19 down to 11, got it. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like 19, you're the richest man in the world, why not pay 19? But this is the mindset, I think, of people who are extremely rich and very good with money. So I don't have that mindset. The other interesting piece all happens in the same part where you see all his laundry hanging in the bathroom, and he apologizes. He is unwilling to pay $10 to have his laundry done for him because he can do it himself, and he wants to save the $10. So, again, the richest man ever won't pay to have his laundry done, won't pay full price for anything, which I get, but when you're talking $19 to $11, and it's for something that's going to get $1.1 million, beyond me. But anyway, so that's where we are so far, and I wanted to jump in real quick. I thought now it's better than later, and make sure I covered everything with you so you got a good idea. It is entertaining. They're jumping around and telling the whole story, and really 33 minutes in. I'm talking real fast so I don't make it too long for you, and it's a 2 hour and 12 minute movie. So, I don't know how many more check-ins I'll have. As you can tell, I'm enjoying it. But if something interesting happens, you'll hear from me. You just sit there and wait. Alright. Hey everybody, we're at the credits. No additional check-ins. I don't think any other check-ins were absolutely needed. You got the basis of the movie, and it really just continued on from there. So the kid gets kidnapped. I think that's where we left off, and they want the J. Paul Getty to pay the ransom. Well, they want Michelle Williams, the kid's mother, to pay the ransom, but they want her to go through him to get the money. And so that's what the whole movie is about, the struggle of her trying to convince, the grandfather to give the money, but it really centers around how he is almost like Ebenezer Scrooge. As I mentioned, the things that he had said before about, the statue and the, which comes out to be fun. Well, I don't want to ruin that for you. But the statue has a reoccurring role later in the, not a reoccurring role, but it appears later in the film as well. And then like he'll do his own laundry rather than pay somebody. He's really tight with his money. And and that plays out throughout the entire movie. That's the center of the entire plot of this movie, is how he controlling over his money was, and he would never give a dime away to anyone and refuse to do that. So it was her struggle of trying to make that happen in an effort to try and get her son back. Meanwhile, the son is held captive, and the people holding him for ransom, are getting tired of doing this because they're not getting any money. Some things happen there. Again, I don't want to ruin too much about the plot, but you can understand the struggle. And that's what the whole film's about. So it's like sad, it's dark at times. I mean, literally dark, not just dark mood, but dark lighting in the film, which, really lends itself to what was going on, and how this J. Paul Getty could care less. It only cared about money, not about anybody in his family. And at one point makes the comment that that's why he invests in things rather than humans, because with things you get what you see. With humans you don't even know. So he wasn't social or anything like that. It's just all about money. But it's that struggle and that's centered around that, and also the mother without her son, and the things that he goes through while held captive. The music in it also lends itself to that darkness. It's I think they do a good job in the movie. I think it's a really good movie. Mark Wahlberg, as I mentioned, plays more of a security guard. He's not the husband as I had thought. But real quick facts, this is the same movie Kevin Spacey was supposed to play Christopher Plummer's role, J. Paul Getty. And I don't know how well that would have worked. Now seeing Christopher Plummer play it, I thought he did a pretty good job at hitting exactly what they wanted from this character. I'm sure Kevin Spacey would have done good, but I don't know if he had the age look that Christopher Plummer did. Then the kid, John Paul Getty III, who gets kidnapped, his name's Charles Plummer. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. They got that in because Kevin Spacey was left, and then they put Christopher Plummer in. And I was like, wow, that's amazing, but they're not related. But that would have been neat. But one other thing that I did learn, Balthazar Getty, you might have seen him in Young Guns 2, I believe he was in Young Guns 2, or Young Guns 1, I'm not sure. One of the two of them, that's where I remember him from, is actually the son of John Paul Getty III. So, a little movie history for you there. But ultimately, I'm going to go with a 7 on this one. I enjoyed it a lot. It's kind of, I don't know, depressing to see somebody that cares that much about money. You would think, we all think, at least I think, I wouldn't change if I had all the money in the world, and I would be the great guy that you guys watch every night, and the same, fun guy. But I'm sure things would change. I just hope you wouldn't turn out like that. But that's pretty much it. That's my review. Hopefully you found it educational. Hopefully it'll help you decide. I do think you should watch this film. And I didn't give too much away, so you don't know what really happens. So check it out. Let me know what you think, and thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.